The Scary Pumpkin. The Whisper in the Forest. It was Halloween night in Hollow Creek, a village surrounded by dark legends. Marta, a fearless young woman, decided to explore a forgotten trail in the forest, ignoring the elders' warnings. The full moon illuminated a hidden clearing where a carved pumpkin lay, pulsating with an unsettling orange glow. As she touched its cold surface, a whisper echoed, carried by the wind, "You shouldn't be here." Marta shuddered, but her curiosity outweighed her fear. She picked up the pumpkin and took it home, unaware of the shadows shifting around her. On her way back, she felt invisible eyes watching her and hollow footsteps echoing between the trees. As she crossed the village gate, a hooded figure appeared at the entrance, muttering something unintelligible before vanishing into the darkness. Marta rushed inside, her heart racing. But when she looked at the pumpkin again, she noticed its runes glowing even brighter. Inside her house, Marta stared at the pumpkin with both fascination and fear. Its glow flickered, almost as if it had a life of its own. Then, a sound broke the silence, soft footsteps upstairs. She knew she was alone. Fear froze her, but curiosity pushed her to climb the stairs. The door to her bedroom was slightly ajar, and an abnormal cold emanated from within. As she pushed it open, she saw the impossible. The pumpkin was on her bed, even though she had left it in the living room. A whisper filled the air. "She has found you." Marta's heart raced. She grabbed the pumpkin and threw it against the wall, but it landed intact, still pulsating. The light inside it flickered violently, and for the first time, Marta saw them. Shadows crept along the walls, their eyes glowing like burning coals. Faint, distant laughter echoed. She wanted to flee, but something held her back. The pumpkin wouldn't let her escape. The nightmare was just beginning. That night, Marta tried to sleep, but nightmares plagued her. She dreamt of a burning village, people being dragged into darkness, and a colossal entity emerging from the center of the pumpkin. The creature murmured her name, and as it opened its monstrous eyes, Marta woke up gasping for air. But the horror wasn't over. A hastily scribbled note lay beside her bed. "She has chosen you." Marta's heart pounded. Who had written it? She looked around and saw that the pumpkin was no longer in the corner of the room. A shadow moved at the foot of her bed. Then, low laughter echoed in the room. Marta tried to turn on the light, but the switch didn't work. In the darkness, she felt a cold breath on her neck. She turned, but there was nothing. Or was there? The pumpkin's light suddenly illuminated the hallway. It was closer now. And it wasn't alone. The village elder hesitated before speaking. His voice trembled as he recounted the legend of the cursed pumpkin, an object tied to an entity that fed on fear and despair. It was said that in every generation, someone was chosen to release the creature and seal their fate in darkness. Marta felt a chill as she realized all previous victims had vanished without a trace. The elder then revealed something even worse. Once the pumpkin chose someone, there was no escape. The runes glowed brighter each night, and whispers echoed in their room, calling their name. Fear gripped her chest. That night, Marta woke up paralyzed, sensing a presence beside her. A cold hand touched her shoulder, and a raspy voice whispered in her ear, "The choice has been made." Determined to understand the curse, Marta broke into the abandoned library. The smell of mold and yellowed pages filled the air. Scouring ancient books, she found an old leather diary. Its pages described the torment of other pumpkin victims. All reported the same events: the pulsating light, the voices in the night, the shadowy figure appearing in reflections. Some pages were stained with dried blood, sentences cut off mid-plea. "She's watching me. There's no escape. Don't touch the pumpkin." Marta shivered as she saw her own name scrawled on the last page, as if someone had known she would be next. The diary fell from her hands when she heard a noise behind her. Turning slowly, she saw the grotesque silhouette forming in the library's shadows, its eyes glowing like the pumpkin's. Marta froze, her heart pounding in her chest. The shadow crawled out of the darkness, revealing a skeletal figure wrapped in tattered rags, with a cracked pumpkin mask covering its face. Its eyes burned like fiery embers. "You've read too much," the creature whispered, its voice a distorted echo. Before she could react, the ground beneath her twisted, and she was pulled into a dark, claustrophobic space. The air was thick, laden with the smell of damp earth and decay. Voices whispered around her, murmuring secrets she didn't want to hear. Suddenly, orange lights flickered on. She was inside the pumpkin. The shadows within the pumpkin took form, revealing lost souls wandering in despair. Marta tried to run, but spectral hands grabbed her. The masked entity approached and whispered, "You will be the next guardian of the darkness." She fought against the shadowy prison, but her strength waned. The ground trembled, and a portal opened before her, showing the fog-covered village of Hollow Creek. If she wanted to escape, she would have to face her worst fears. Marta closed her eyes and summoned her courage. She remembered what the elder had said, facing her own darkness was the key. With a scream, she broke free from the shadows and grabbed the creature's mask. As she tore it off, a skeletal, terrified face was revealed. It was the pumpkin's last victim. With one final effort, Marta destroyed the pulsating core of the curse. A blinding light engulfed everything. Marta woke up in the clearing where it all began. The pumpkin lay there, now lifeless and cracked. The night air was calm. She had survived. But as she turned to leave the forest, a faint whisper echoed, "We will meet again." Back in the village, Marta tried to warn everyone, but few believed her. The next night, another pumpkin appeared in the forest, waiting for its next chosen one.